We have some really good European data. The numbers look really promising. Look at these total registrations in Europe so far. And look at the Model 3 deliveries in Europe in the daily reporting countries. This is the current quarter, and this here is the previous quarter. We are obliterating previous quarters. It's not just, oh yeah, we're doing a little bit better here. No. We are annihilating previous quarters with the Model 3 deliveries, specifically Model 3 deliveries compared to previous quarters. So looking at that data, I think it is not clever or smart to say, oh yeah, in China, it is not going to be a success. Are you blind? Which I understand if you are blinded by the Model 3 success in Europe. Although it is important to point out that the wait times in China for the refresh Model 3 have not really moved. So that's a fair point to make. But looking at the success in Europe, I feel pretty good about the Model 3. And Troy also agrees that Europe is expected to be a new record in Q4. The data is looking really good so far. We do need to see the numbers in Germany still. And if they are good, together the numbers from the UK, then yeah, the situation is looking pretty good. Here, look at Italy, for example. In Italy, in Q4, we have now delivered more vehicles than in all of Q3. This is largely thanks to the refresh Model 3. Or look at Spain. Spain has pretty much already achieved the best quarter ever with just 2 months. And France and Europe is a very important market for Tesla, and it is doing superbly well. Portugal also, for example, pretty much achieved the best quarter ever so far with just 2 months. So I'm really happy with the numbers that are coming from Europe right now. Jason just spent 3 days with the Cybertruck, and here's what he had to say on a podcast.
Responsible for changing the face of transportation already. And just as no one is caught up. No one is even close. Lucid, maybe, but that's all the same people that did the Model S. The traditional automakers are like a decade behind still. And we
behind
those cars, like yes. Model 3, Model Y, at least a decade, if not more. And we're like, okay, well, the ground is gaining slowly. And he just fucking walloped the entire industry with a passive aggressive PDF, say how to develop a 48-volt vehicle. You can criticize this thing all you want for how it looks and what it means and whether all of this entire thing was necessary. But holy shit, what went into this is like, I would hang myself if I worked for a traditional car company right now, out of sheer embarrassment. Like when they start pulling this thing apart, their mind is going to be blown to the point of like, why do we even come to work every day?
Yeah.
Like
a seismic shift.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the fact that it has to look like that and piss off so many people and whatever is just beside the point. Like, do we need to be driving 6,700 pound suburban assault vehicles?
One of Tesla's executives said, we just revamped the new Model 3 and that was a couple weeks to ramp. I think we are a little better. And we have learned from our production hell days. So basically we are hearing the Model 3 ramp indeed is going smoothly and well. And while from Elon we have heard so much about the Cybertruck being so difficult to ramp, from Lars we are hearing that maybe it's not going to be all that bad, which would be a huge positive potentially for Tesla. It's possible that Rivian could sue Tesla because Rivian has a patent on a range extender that basically Tesla is going to use for the Cybertruck. Rivian patented this in 2019, so it's not very recent. We know so little about the Tesla range extender for the Cybertruck that it is difficult to comment if Rivian really does have a solid case here or not. However, Tesla does have quite a few patents, so if Rivian decides to sue Tesla, Tesla can probably find something that Rivian accidentally used and sue Rivian back. So while Rivian could potentially sue Tesla here, I think it would be a foolish thing to do because you would be making a big enemy. And Tesla generally allows everyone to use its own patents just as long as they do so in good faith. And when Tesla says you can use our patents in good faith, what Tesla basically means is that if you have patents and we want to use them, let us use them. Here's a quad motor Rivian, which you would think would be faster because it has one more motor than the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck only has 3 motors, and yet the Rivian loses. And it loses really badly too. That was not just a small victory, that was a huge victory for Cybertruck, an easy victory. And Cybertruck has by far the best ground clearance, not just by a little bit, but generally speaking compared to some of the big names. It's a huge difference.